Good morning, welcome to the Dunton Homestead. So yesterday I spent most of the day in the house canning bone broth, chicken bone broth, and maybe about 18 quarts. Today I'm going to be spending most of the day outside. It is the day to turn the compost that I have going inside of the chicken coop and to start a new one with this new theory that I can do this compost thing. But first, it's time to feed the chickens so that they won't be coming at me when I'm in there working. Time to wake them up. I've spread out their scratch. They've been given oyster shells. Now it's time to get them up and ready to work for us. Start inching their way towards the edge in the coop and then they fly out. So I'm gonna give them some room to fly. I'll often lose count and then start walking towards the door to exit and we collide. So my plan is to give them a little bit of time, and I'm going to move that compost cage over this way. I'm going to add a new one and start building. And they've already worked really hard in the last week. It's been a week since I put the first one in. A lot of the leaves, kitchen scraps, and the initial bedding from inside's all been broken down really good. So I'm excited for this one. 18 cans of chicken bone broth done up yesterday. Without any real plan for what was to go into the freeze dryer next, I got some random things. I got bones from the bone broth so I can make bone meal. I've got a couple cans of canned pears. I just wanted to see how that would work as a grab and go snack, and some oranges and lemons that were going soft. Right now in the canner I have 6 quart jars of black beans. This is an experiment. I saw someone do it. I want to check it out. If it works, I'll do a video on it and I'll explain why I'm taking shelf-stable dried beans and turning them into canned beans. Right now I'm just waiting for to come up to temperature so I can set the timer and turn the heat down, and then when I feel like it's stable, I'll be going out and working on the chicken. So the ladies in Beast who cleaned up their scratch, what I'm going to do is get them out of there and move that bin down this way, and then I'm going to put a second bin in and I'm going to build them both. I'm going to build them both with some of the bedding from inside the coop, and then some of the stuff that they've just kind of like tracked all over the place. I'm going to throw that back in there. I'm going to be putting some fresh leaves in. I'm going to be putting more kitchen scraps in and watering it down as I go. So to set up the second compost ring, some of them have figured out where the good new stuff is. Some of them are just excited that I stirred things around and watered things, so they're finding things that they didn't know were there, I guess. So next week, this compost ring, which was the first one I did, I didn't have all the materials that I needed to do it the way I wanted it, but I made do with what I had. This compost ring will flip over and everything that's in there will go on top, and I will, whatever leaves, I will add to it, and more kitchen scraps. And the new one, that will flip over to where the first one is, and then I will add a third one here. And the idea is every week to flip over, and the third one should be broken down, and it was really actually in pretty good shape today. Should be broken down enough that I can move it out, put it into a pile to finish breaking down, and so that the chicken manure is not quite so fresh, so it won't burn my plants, and I'll be able to use it for fertilizer, for soil, for compost, which is something that we really need help with in our garden. The red clay is getting us down. So that's our adaptation of the chicken tractor on steroids. We don't have a chicken tractor, so I'm trying to adapt it to the coop and make it work. Now I know that over time, all this organic matter, whether it's what we cut, what we mulch up with the leaves, trees that fall, it's all going to turn to good compost anyway. I mean, if you look at any woods, that's where the richest soil is. And proof of that is the compost pile that we started but didn't keep up on it. I want to say about 1.5 years ago. I actually been sifting that and using that as potting soil to start new plants in the house. I sifted it, I cooked it for like a half hour on 250 to kill any bugs and insects. I don't want to be inviting them in the house. And then I went ahead and I planted like 6 herbs that I didn't get around to planting last year. So eventually it'll happen anyway. This is what Rick and I had started last year, it was like 1.5 years ago. And eventually it all breaks down anyway. I'm just trying to do it faster because the red clay is really hard to deal with. And just a second, I'll show you how hard it is to deal with.
So, back in the springtime when I was prepping this area for the garden, ran into a lot of bricks. I have no idea what was here before, but I thought I got them all. And then trying to dig my sweet potatoes, I don't know if the sweet potatoes pulled them up or we grew new ones or what, but I got that. And I've been throwing all the other ones over there.
So these bricks right here are just from what he's dug up last night and tonight so far. And our sweet potatoes crop is so far
dismal.
So far not what we were hoping for. The good news is he's like 1/3 done digging, and or maybe 1/2, because the whole area here wasn't. We had tomatoes and squash down this end, so but I don't. It's just fascinating to think what was here years ago.
Well, there's another one.
What was here years ago? For the past week, Rick has been digging up what's supposed to be our sweet potatoes. And I planted 20 sweet potato slips in this section of the garden, and what he's been digging up has been this. And the reasoning, I believe, is because the ground is so compacted with this red clay. It's ridiculous. And he's literally digging up buildings. I'm not sure what this building used to be, but Rick found it in our garden. Since we've been living here, I've been saying that it'd be really cool to find out what the history of this place is. I've heard there's different rumors, different things that the past owner has told us. There's things that a neighbor across the street has mentioned. But we really have no idea what was here. We have a nice spring house out back. I don't know if the spring house was just for residential or if this property, we know this property used to be bigger at one time. And when we moved here, I wanted to go check out at the Historical Society just to see if I could get any information of what used to be here. And it was when the world was shut down and they were just closed. So today I have errands to do. I might just stop in and at least find out where I can get information of what used to be in this spot, and just put some of my thoughts to rest or just figure it out. because it's hard to garden on top of houses. I mean, he's been working hard and getting frustrated, and he keeps digging deeper, way deeper than what the sweet potatoes will be, because he just wants to get all the bricks up so that we can actually have some soil as we blend in what we're trying to create with the chickens next year, and maybe it won't be so difficult. I don't know. It was a tough year. We still were blessed with what we got. There are some disappointments. The sweet potato crop is one of those disappointments. Actually did better in the 4 containers of the container planting of the sweet potatoes than what we did in the garden. I had 12 plants in between all the container plants, container pots, and 20 slips out here in the garden, and you can't, more than half of what we've gotten you can't even call fingerlings. They're just tiny. They look like thick roots. That's pretty much it. So the black beans are ready to come out. This week I will make something with them, and if everything works out, I'll do a video on them another time and explain the method to my madness of taking perfectly fine, shelf-stable dried beans and canning them. There's no siphoning, so that's a good sign. Not that I can see so far anyway. My concern with whether they were going to come out is whether they were going to end up being all mush or not, which I won't know till I use them. And I'll have that on the menu for sometime next week to use them after they sit for a spell. Off to have lunch with Dad, and then to do some errands, and I'm going to try and stop in at the Historical Society and see if I can find out what's going on, what was here before this house was here. This house was built in 1920, but because of all the bricks that we find on the property, we're pretty sure that this was not the original house. So there was something else here. Just want to know what it was. It's evening now. I struck out at the Cabarrus Historical Society building. My GPS kept wanting to bring me to a construction site, which apparently it's right in the middle of. There is not any good parking. I did finally get a hold of somebody through Facebook Messenger, and they said that they were closed until November 3rd, even though the Facebook said that they were open, their page said it was open, and their website said they were open. So then I asked her if the address was correct, because the times were not, and she said that it was the correct address. So and I said, is this where I would go to find out what the historical, if anything, on my property? And she has yet to answer me, so I guess it's still going to be a mystery. That's okay. Rick's got more building to build up. I'm thinking that with all the bricks that he's pulling out of there and partial walls, we might build a pizza oven. Might be a good idea. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Be a blessing and be blessed. Bye.